Alright folks, this is a 2015 E350 4matic. I'm going to do the front brakes. Now, front brakes, just like all the other brakes, they seem pretty much the same thing. Alright, to take the caliper off, over here on the side where the bracket is. Okay, this is the bracket, the way it's going to sit. Mounted in there. Okay, it's going to be two 13-inch bolts. Alright, they come right out. To get the bracket off, it's 18mm socket. Okay, 13mm, 18mm. That takes the bracket off. Once you get to here, this is a T30 Torx head, and that'll take the rotor off. As for the brake pads, alright, the brake pads, the outer pad, it's got a little hole in it, so you just gotta tap that with a screwdriver, just shove it in there, and you're gonna see that's gonna pop just like that. Alright, so that's where it sits in. As for the inner pad, alright, you can use it as your with your tool, like I did, to push the piston all the way in, because an old pad you're not gonna use it anyway. And I'm going to explain to you these little ridges over here, because this has got the sport package with the special rotors with the chamfered holes. Alright, now the inside ones, they just snap right out. Just like a clip. Alright, so in reverse, what we got to do is just put the pads, snap them back in, and the outer ones, snap it there, and then we're going to change the rotor. Alright, hold on. Alright, it's going to work on this rotor. What I'm going to do is going to take the T30 out, strike it good with a nice hammer, and you jar it right loose. Alright, and then the rotor comes right out. Oh, maybe the sucker's heavy. Alright. Our new one's going to go back on just the way it is. Alright, I'm going to clean up the oil on it, make it nice and shiny, then we'll throw it on there. Alright, this is a Duralast brand. That's the part number for the sport one with the holes in it. Okay, hold on. Alright, so we put the rotor on there with the T30 Torx head and make it nice and tight. And we put the bracket back on with the two bolts in the back. Alright, 18mm. Take the brake pads. After you squeeze the piston in, put the inside one in, and then with the outside one in. Don't forget the outside one has a little dot over there, and that goes in this little hole. That lines up in there. Alright, and then we're going to put that on. Alright, now once you mount the caliper with the brake pads in there, don't forget the two 13mm bolts. One on top, one on the bottom. That holds the caliper in. And you know what? I forgot. At the beginning of this, there's a nice little cover that says Mercedes-Benz here. Just pried it off a little bit. But see what happens? See how it's rotted away? That little clip is there. So that's why most cars you won't have this anymore. But it'll hold on with that one clip. Once you take that off, you're able to see this clip. There's another anti-rattle clip that fits in here. Okay, you just got to pry that with a screwdriver, and it pops right out. So to put this back on, you're going to pry it the same way, except you're going to pry it in. Alright, so that leans on top, this leans on the bottom, and this one is going to go in that little hole. Alright, I'm going to put you down for a second so we can do this. Alright, so I'm going to say that these little clips that come with the Duralast gold pads, they're junk. They're very thin. I'd rather use the original ones. Now the original ones, yeah, they're not that easy. Alright, you have to line up these pins here. Keep this just on the outside, because remember, this has to go in that hole. So what I did was, I stuck this in here, between here and the middle, and I started to turn the screwdriver. And you see that you just have just enough there. So you turn it in, you just got to push it in just a little bit more. And then with your other hand, or with the little the back of a hammer here, just tap it into that hole. Once you tap it into the hole, then you push this and tap this, and you're all set. All right, that's it with this one. So yeah, the trick is get a good set. Those are cheap ones. I can bend that with my hand. That's why there was no strength in it whatsoever. So I rather deal with the original ones. They are always the best. All right, and look at that, all these little chamfered holes, sport. They do a nice job on your pads. Okay, that's the problem with these things. If you got the regular rotors, these pads probably will still be alive if it didn't set off the sensor. All right, that's it. I'm gonna put the wheel back on and off to the other side. Ciao. Hey guys, and if you're on the passenger side, the right side, there is a wear sensor, which is right there. All right, that little tiny sensor. It's a plug right here. Just unplug it from here, like that. And then the other sensor is right in that brake pad. There's a little U shape in there. You can get a screwdriver in there and you just pry it right there and pull it out, or you could just wiggle it out if it's not that bad. There it is. All right, that's what it looks like. It sits in that little U shape there. All right, let's see if you can pull it back a little bit. There you go. Okay, that's the wear sensor. You see it's cut into it already. That's telling the customer that it's time for brakes. All right, once you cut it open, then it creates a little open circuit, and that's it. All right, and that wire is attached to the caliper right there. So be careful when you remove this caliper. You don't want to break that wire. Okay, other than that, same thing as the other. There's a little Mercedes-Benz plate. Okay, take that cover off, take the clip off. 13mm there, 18mm in the back. Take the bracket off, T30 for the screw, and hit the rotor with a nice hammer. Hit it off to one corner, and you'll break that little rust there, and you'll be on your way. All right, that's it. Ciao for this time. Adios.